Chess is more than a game. It's strategy, it's intelligence, it's friendship. Welcome to my world. Welcome to my channel. The game has just begun.
Hi chess friends, I'm here to show you the game number 11 that was played by Magnus Carlsen and Ian Nepomniachtchi in the World Championship 2021 in Dubai. Carlsen has 6 points and half and Nepo 3 points and half. An incredible difference. If Carlsen wins this game, he becomes for the 5th times champion in the world. Incredible. In this game, Nepo plays with the white pieces and Carlsen with the black pieces, and Nepo has absolutely win this game. Nepo opens with e4, e5, knight f3, knight c6, bishop c4, knight f6, and d3, a new opening in this World Championship. Bishop c5, putting pressure of f2 like the bishop of Nepo put pressure on f7, and c3 to support this pushing in the future, d4. d6 by Carlsen, defending this pawn better, castle by Nepo, and a5 by Carlsen to create some space. Rook e1 and bishop a2. In this way, a7. In this way, Carlsen avoid this push with the time. If, for example, if you castle now, you allow this pushing, and here Carlsen has to retreat. In this way, he puts at the save completely on a7. Knight a3 by Carlsen, by Nepo, and h6 by Carlsen to cut off this g5 square for the bishop and for the knight of Nepo. Knight c2 and castle by Carlsen. Bishop e3 and bishop capture for e3, knight capture for e3. Rook e8 and a4 by Nepo. He wants to avoid this pushing, a5, a4 of Carlsen. So a4 to block this pawn. Bishop e6, bishop capture for e6 and rook capture for e6. Completely fine position for both players. Nice development of knights, and queen will be activated soon, and this rook on a8 can be activated, and the same for the rook of a1. Queen b3, attacking this pawn, putting pressure on this diagonal, and simply b6, defending this pawn by Carlsen. Rook d1, typical development of the rook, and knight e7. h3, controlling this g4 square, and queen d7 by Carlsen. Knight h2 and rook d8. So now we have the complete development of all pieces on the board. Knight g4 by Nepo, and knight capture for g4. H capture for g4, and d5 by Carlsen. It's time to push. You have the rooks, the queen, and the knights that guard this pawn, so it's time to push and open up the position. Here we have d4. You could capture here, but pawn for pawn, knight for knight. and position like this, or the trade in this way of all pieces. But here Nepo prefers to play d4, attacking this pawn. Here Carlsen capture, Nepo capture, sorry about that. Carlsen capture, e4 d4, Nepo capture, e4 d5, and rook e4 by Carlsen. This rook it's little close, has no square to go, and yeah, you have to think a little where put this rook. There is this pawn is hanging, so here Nepo plays queen c2, attacking the pawn. You the rook. You don't need now to capture this pawn, and here Carlsen moves the rook. Rook a4, and now we reach the crucial position of the game. It's a turn of Nepo. Nepo has to move, so, and he has to find a good move. This pawn can be captured. Could be captured, for example, with the rook. Rook capture, and pawn capture. And then knight capture. Completely same position, but this pawn risks to fall down. A first evaluation of a computer gives a draw. So with this move, because you can capture this pawn, so like I showed you before, so but there is a problem here. Nepo find a different idea and play g3. Could be seem a good idea, a nice idea. This rook, where can go this rook? Has no square. Here there is a queen to it. Could go there, the rook, but here can follow move like this, for example, queen here and attack the rook. So rook here, and then the idea of Nepo here was when Carlsen moves the rook, I can capture the pawn and I am completely fine. So g3 seems good, but g3 is a mistake, because here Carlsen find the best continuation and try to find the move. You can stop the video now, because here Carlsen plays d4 capturing the knight, ignoring this threat. Here Nepo has to capture g4 f4, and here Carlsen can attack. Queen for g4 check. You can see how open the position. With g3 you are so weak in the side king, so, and with d4 e3 and g4 f4 you open up completely the position. So a bad mistake for Nepo. So queen g4 check, and here Nepo has to be careful. Queen f1. He tried to put his king here safe, try to move in the center. Here Carlsen play queen h3 check again. You can't move the king here, because if you move the king here, you have this combination pawn. The king can capture, never, because there is check and you lost the queen. so you can capture the pawn. And this pawn, the problem is that attacks the rook, so you have to move the rook in some square, and this is a problem. You can find the valuation of a computer. You can play move like this, but queen here is so strong, so there is no way here. So here Nepo decided to play king g1. Here Carlsen has to try to attack, and he decided to play knight f5, a really strong move. He brings another piece for the attack, and this knight is so strong, it can jump on h4 quickly. Here Nepo decided to push d6, try to put some difficult and complication in the square, in the chessboard, because with this pawn you can capture and threat the promotion. So knight g4, threatening checkmate. You can't capture here because it's checkmate, so you have to prevent this. And this move is strong because it's not checkmate only in g2, there is the same checkmate on f3. So the way to escape here is f4e3. In this way you can defend by the checkmate, because here this is covered by the queen, and you can do this, and if knight can check with the check, you can play king f2, and you can't play queen h2 and it's the queen because there is a knight that defends. So in this way Nepo seems safe. But here Carlsen play queen g2 check, queen g3 check. Nepo can't block with the queen because there is the knight and the queen that attack will be checkmate. So Nepo here moves the king, king f1, and now knight f3 by Carlsen. He attacks the rook. If here Nepo try to capture with the pawn, attacking this rook, there is a problem because there is check here and check here, and this is checkmate. So you can't do this, it's impossible. You can't open this line, the d file for the rook. So you have to defend. Here Nepo play queen f2, but now Carlsen plays queen h3, a really good move, really. Here check is not a good move because this knight here is so bad, it's not a good move. But you can play here queen h3, that is better, and queen g2 by Nepo. If you come here, you can attack with check with this move, and if you capture here, now there is this move, queen g4 check, and if the king move, you have rook capture, and the queen guard this queen, so it's completely fine. This is the idea of queen h3, that guards the promotion of the pawn on c8. This is a crucial point. So here Nepo decide to block with the queen, queen g2, and queen capture for g2, king capture for g2, but there is knight for e2 with check, so you have no time to hit the pawn and threat the promotion. Rook for e1 and rook for d6. And now after this really complicated attack, we have this position where Carlsen has 6 pawns, Nepo has 5 pawns, and this is completely winning for Carlsen. You have this G pawn and H pawn so dangerous. They can push and bring a victory easily. Carlsen here has to be precise, and but he doesn't risk nothing. He can't lose in this position. He can only draw and maybe win. So king f3 by Nepo, and rook d2 by Carlsen, attacking the pawn. Here you have to defend this pawn. You cannot defend this pawn, so rook b1, and this rook is so passive here. So g6 by Carlsen to push. He begin to push this pawn and take a square for the king, and b4 by Nepo. A capture for b4 and rook capture for b4. Rook a5 putting rook a2 putting pressure on a4, and king e4. Nice centralizing of king by Nepo. h5. Carlsen tried to push his strongest pawn. This is completely free. It can be pushed, so it's so dangerous. And king e5 by Nepo. He tried to come to this pawn to it. Rook c1 by Carlsen, putting pressure here. c2 by Carlsen, and rook b3 to defend this pawn. But here Carlsen continued to push. h4 and king c6 and h3. This pawn is so near. King capture for c7 and h2, and now the position is completely bad for Nepo. Rook b1 tried to avoid this promotion, but here followed rook for c3 check, king for b6, and here Nepo is completely lost. You can find the move in this position. You could avoid this check trying to play a move like this, but yeah, it's always the same, because this rook can defend this pawn. So you can see after this check here Carlsen plays rook b3. If the king moves, there is a rook for b1, so it's lost. The king has capture, rook for b3, and we have the promotion to a queen. And this is completely bad position. a4, a5, and queen e4. A nice centralizing move of the queen. You have not to play a move like this to stop the pawn. You risk a lot, because you can play here the rook here and try to push the pawn, and when the pawn come to a7, you block everything with the rook. For example, in this, if you continue like this, you can see how this queen can be closed. So this is not a way to play. You have to win in this way. Queen e4 and king a7 by Nepo. He can't push the pawn. If you push the pawn, you lose, because there is this check and this pawn. This is check, so you lose this, and this is checkmate completely. Or for example, this is check, and you can push the pawn. You are completely down. So here he has to play king a7, and here queen e7 check, king a8 and king g7. A nice quiet move. He can't do move like this, check and take the pawn, because it would be rook that defend everything. So he want to move, to play next move queen d8 and then attack the pawn. rook b6 by Nepo, and queen c5, attacking the pawn and this pawn. And here in this position, after 49 moves, Nepo resigned. Carlsen reached 7.5 points and become for the 5th times the world champion in chess. I want to do some congratulations for the both players. Nepo, he's so good. He was only in a bad form because he was psychological suffering for the game number 6. So it's obvious it's difficult to come back stronger and do something good after a game like the game number 6. And my words for Carlsen, there is nothing to do because to say because Carlsen, yeah, he has win a lot. He continued to win. He is so strong, and he know when draws and he know when he have to risk to win. This is incredible. In this way, he ended this edition in Dubai of World Championship, and now he's happy, and I don't know what to say. Who will be the next world challenger of Carlsen between 2 years? I really want to thank everyone that remain with me on all this championship, world championship, and I hope all my videos enjoy you, and thank you for watching my video. Subscribe to my channel, and see you soon. Bye.